Hey, let's go.
All right. Oh, can you see it recording in the corner? That's nice.
Oh, yeah. It'll tell us the time.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. Today we're trying a new version of Boobs and Bourbon. So we hope you like it. We don't have bourbon today, but that's okay.
In spirit.
Today's, yeah, we have bourbon and spirit. Today's topic is tipping, like tipping culture, like when you're going out to eat, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, Molly, why don't you start us off today? How do you feel about the tipping culture in America right now?
Well, Carly, let me tell you how I feel about it.
My God. Yeah.
I have always been, ever since I had my own money, I'm an over tipper. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of it was because of math, and math is hard, but also
Absolutely.
because I'm like, I mean, that a lot of people depend on tips because, waitresses, waiters, they get like minimum wage and they make most of their money in tips.
Yeah.
So I'm always an over tipper. I always tip even if the service wasn't great. I definitely tip a little bit less, but still, I've only ever wanted to not tip one time because it was a truly awful experience. But
It must have been really bad.
it was bad. It was bad. I was about to go full Karen, and I was like early 20s.
Dang.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah. But on the flip side, I feel like now too many things are asking for tips. Like they all have that screen now where they like turn it around and they're like,
Yeah. You?
would you like, yeah. And so, like, even at like the freaking place we get our smoothie bowls, now it's like
Yes.
they move it around. And I'm like, okay, but I was going to tip you in your tip jar. So I do leave a tip, but I'm mad about it. You know what I mean? I'll still tip you, but I'm like, ugh, you know?
I hate that
Yeah.
now because the people behind you can now also see what you're tipping
What you're
because the
tipping.
line
Yeah.
is huge,
And they got
man.
to know immediately. So are they going to make your stuff not as good because you didn't give them the higher
Right.
tip? Because they got to
Yeah.
see it right away, right?
I think they do because like they have to click like the next screen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if I give you $1, you're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to put as much effort into this. But also, like, I'm easy peasy, Like, as long as
Yeah.
it doesn't give me the sickness, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I personally have never worked for like tip based jobs before. Like
Uh-huh.
I've always I mean I worked like at a food place right out of high school, but we weren't technically allowed to take tips. Like we couldn't have a tip jar out.
Oh,
So I guess I never depended on tips, but it was sure nice when somebody tipped me. I was like, thank you so much.
yeah.
But my sister, who works in like the beauty industry, she tells me all these crazy stories about like she's literally giving $200 service and they don't tip her
Mhm.
at all.
Mm.
Like
And
all, like not even like $1. Like you can't
no,
even give her $1.
nope. And she's
I
in
was,
somebody's hoo ha all day.
yeah, like she's literally like waxing your butthole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can't give
And
her a
you
couple
can
dollars for that.
you have a dingleberry and you can't afford to give her $1?
That's
Right. She
crazy.
should charge by the dingleberries.
Like
Not
I should be a millionaire.
that
um,
being uh being in that industry though, so she doesn't, or does she thrive off of tips? Like is tips a really big part of her income?
So when she's in between now starting her own place and still working at us for another person. She definitely depended on tips because she got paid minimum wage. So she made commission off services and tips. And so like it depended on if it was a card or cash or whatever. But yeah, she definitely uh, relied on it because she did not get paid enough at
Mm.
the place she's currently at. So, um, but I just like they are working on you. Like I just don't understand how you can't tip. Like when I get a pedicure, I'm like, I just don't understand how you can't tip. Like you just walk
Why,
out.
why do you feel like how do we get to the point like of tipping for services? You know, like I wonder like
Yeah.
what generated that, because honestly, there's so many other professions that also provide a service, like a very important, like we don't tip doctors, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we don't tip teachers,
Because
you
they
know,
make,
like
oh yeah, I was gonna say the doctors make the money, the teachers don't.
yeah, I
But
mean, yes, but I mean, like other services that are more. I mean, I don't want that sounds terrible to say, but that's not on the same level of impact, I guess, for society as like teachers and things like that. Like if we, so sorry about my cat, but if we started tipping some of these other professions that aren't tipping, do you feel like you get a better performance? Like, how did it become such a beauty and restaurant kind of, I don't know, kind of thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Standard.
yeah,
And, you know, is it just because like anyone can cook food? So because I'm cooking your food, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like I wonder what started it in these, or how it became just a thing for these kind of services. Mm.
in my mind. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I'll
Um,
say I think it started because cost of living went up and wages did not.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
so the business continued to pay the employee, whatever dollars per hour it was or is. And they left that if the person wanted to make more in the consumer's hand,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
right. Does it sound okay to you, Molly?
yeah. I did hear a little bit of that whooshing
Yeah.
again, but like it wasn't as bad as before.
It's not consistent.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But anyways, I think that also with that, like prices went up for things, right? So like in specific industries, like say waxing, right? Waxing prices went up. So the employer raised their prices to cover the requirement for the new wax. Also, minimum wage went up, but not enough. So
yeah,
they now, I think minimum wage here is like $11. So they're paying their person $11 an hour with this new wax that they had to buy. And they raised the prices on their services, but the commission stayed the same
right.
for the individual. So they're leaving it in the consumer's hand whether or not they want to pay more. And I'm all about like tipping for a job well done if
Yeah,
the job requires a tip. Like the way I see it, when I go to Dutch Bros, like they're standing outside taking my order. That's like going above and beyond because technically, like when it's like raining really hard, they make you wait at the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they're out there in the weather, in the extreme weather that we have here, I feel like it's worth the tip because they're coming to my car. That way my drink is ready when I get to the window.
yeah,
Where at say, do you tip the Amazon guy when he delivers your packages?
Yeah, but like, why not though? You know, like,
Right. But like, do you? So like when Starbucks makes my order, if I park my car and I go into Starbucks and they place my order, make my coffee, and I pick it up right there, and then I walk back to my car, I don't usually tip because you did
mm,
nothing above and beyond your job description.
mm,
Does that make sense? Now,
interesting.
if you
Yeah,
like added some extra foam on there, if you like gave me like a little something extra, or like if you were super nice to me, or
yeah,
like we talked, that's different, right? Because we're having an interaction.
yeah.
But
You
if
made
it's
a
mm,
normally like
yeah,
I literally, yeah, like if I placed my order, waited there, scrolling on my Facebook phone, right? And then
yeah,
mm,
got my coffee and left, you did what you were hired to do.
yeah,
yeah.
you
So
did.
it's weird. Like, do you how and then how much do you tip? Like, how much do you tip the barista? compared to the waitress who brought you your food and kept your Coke full.
Yeah.
A lot less.
You know, especially if you think about it, a lot of people would tip the waiter so much more because she's waiting on other tables. She's like constantly checking in, running back and forth from the kitchen, and they're doing it for a more extended period of time, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah, you're there.
This kid,
Yeah.
like, I may have a whole party, like 8 people. Like, now you're not only just doing it for me, like, he's not giving the cup of coffee to each person in the car. He's passing it to one homie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge because
it is.
They may feel jaded. They're like, hey, I'm back here in this hot kitchen, making 18 drinks. I should be tipped one.
Yeah.
Well,
And
what
then-
about the cooks?
Yeah. Did they get, I think they share the tips a lot of the places, but
When I was waitressing, they didn't. There was
Oh,
a tip jar for the cooks if you wanted to tip, or you could buy the cooks like a 6-pack of beer. And it was like a menu item. Like you could order a 6-pack of beer for the cooks. And then at the end of their shift, they would get the 6-pack of beer that you purchased for them. Or they had like their own tip jar. But like when I was waitressing, you tipped out your bar, and that covered like your bar back and your bartender. You tipped out your food runner and you tipped out your host. And then like depending on, I worked at a couple of different restaurants, depending on which one I worked at, one had a busboy and one didn't. So, but a lot of the times the one restaurant that I worked at that had a busboy, he was yours, or she, excuse me. He was yours. So, like we always worked the same shift, we always worked the same section, and we always worked cohesively. So, immediately he gets half. Like I always worked with the same
right.
busser. So, if I made $100, I actually made 50 and he made 50. And then from my 50, I tipped out the other people that I needed to, because that's not fair to him to get, a certain percentage when I wouldn't have had those tables and that turnover unless he did his job. Because your busser he's cleaning your tables, getting your refills, he's helping you with food, he's cleaning up. Like he's doing just as much as you are.
Yeah.
He should get that too. But I think a lot of people don't think about that when they go out to eat. Or they're like, oh, I knew somebody who, no matter what, would tip $5 a person. That's it. $5. So their meal could be, no matter what they order, their meal could be, $200-$300, and they would leave $10 because it's $5 for each of them.
So what do you use to determine your tip? Are you determining from like what I order? Like if I ordered a lobster, that's $80. I'm guaranteed I'm going to tip this much. Like, are you basing it off of the menu prices you're paying, or off of the legit service you are receiving?
I personally do it off both. Yeah. I'm with Molly because one, you need, like, there needs to be a foundation. So like I'm always a heavy tipper because I work the industry and I know how hard it is, and like so much respect for people in the industry. But so I'm like a 20% tipper. Like if I hate your service, you're still getting like 15%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could count one time. I think Emily was with us actually, but I don't believe we had my other children yet. Where we actually left like $4 or something like that because the service was just so horrible, like so awful, and I felt so guilty. I went back and left more.
Yeah, you feel bad for. I don't know, but it's like,
I was like, even though you suck at your job, here's an extra $5.
But like, you never know what's going on. Like maybe they're short staffed, or like, like I kind of make excuses for them unless they're really like, unless it's their attitude, you know what I mean? But if the food's late, like I'm assuming it's not, they're trying their best. Like they know they work on tips, like I don't feel like they're doing poorly.
That logic kind of goes in reverse too. Like, they're working for a tip. Like clearly I'm not like going to tip you a certain amount no matter what. Like, I'm very much based on the service you are providing. Like, I'm very, very heavy on that because whether I order a salad and soup or a tomahawk steak, like I expect the same level of service. Like I don't also want you to treat me like, oh, she's just ordering a salad. Like let's just leave her hanging, because I still deserve great service no matter what I'm buying. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I still came
Yeah.
in this and decided to spend money. And I'm came in this establishment most likely because of the
Yeah.
service I receive or what have you. Like just
Mm-hmm.
because my menu item is like not over a certain dollar amount, I don't want it to justify that I get a certain amount of service. Just like I don't want to justify the fact that I, bought a tomahawk steak. I immediately am going to give you $40 because I ordered a high menu price. Like you still don't know like what I got. Like start treating me like I'm big bucks just because I'm spending big bucks. You never know who's in at the table, right? So like,
True.
I
I made
honestly
this.
never thought about the food you order. Like, I don't know why I never thought about that. Like, do they treat me different because I'm just ordering a size salad? I mean, I do notice the stares are like, oh, that's all you want? I'm like, yeah. But I never like correlated the two, like if they would give me shitty service for that. That's interesting.
I do, and because like they, you can tell when some people are like, okay, that's all you want, and you're just like, yeah, and they're like, okay, and then all of a sudden my service is slowing down, or like I'm not really getting refills. Like you were at my table every 2 minutes when you didn't know what I was ordering or when you wanted me to place my order. Now that I have a certain order, it's like it just slows down, or if we don't have that many people
Right.
at the table. I definitely notices that. Like just
I
because I
never
have
thought of that before, but as a server, I didn't judge people based on what they ordered, but I would definitely, as because I was younger, obviously, I would judge people for ordering water. And now, because I'm always like, oh, you cheap fuck. Like,
Yeah.
you just want water because it's free. But now as an
Well, it's
adult,
like
I'm like,
$8.
I just want water.
Yeah.
And I just want water because I'm thirsty. Like,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with the price of the soda. It has to do with the fact that, like, I'm going to drink all of this in a matter of seconds.
yeah.
But I never judged somebody based on what they ordered. I was one of those that like you order what you want. You came here for something, If you just want a
Yeah.
salad, what do I care?
But there's people out there, that definitely
Yeah.
does it. I mean, I guess maybe it's just a me experience or what have you, but I definitely like noticed it. And I feel like, but that's almost in many of different professions. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's something we think is less than that we would judge someone over in a sense. Like, like maybe if you go into a shoe store and you just go in there and buy sandals and there's like other expensive shoes and you're like, okay, like, are you getting the sandals? Like, why even coming here if you're just getting sandals? Like, or maybe you go to Starbucks and just order a green tea and a water and you're like, oh, you don't want nothing complicated? Like you always find one thing there that's like a little bit more mundane than
Right.
everything else. And
Yeah.
people are willing to judge you for just choosing the most basic thing, like going into Build a Bear and just buying a teddy bear. They're probably like, okay,
Can you do
like,
that?
how have I done that?
No, can you do that? Can you just buy a bear? You have to make
Yeah.
it.
I don't have to buy the clothes and stuff, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think they will. I think they would be like, okay, like I think we all have that, like one thing, and I feel like for waiters, it's the amount of food I buy. Like honestly, like oh, you just came in here for like fries, like okay, like that's weird. Like I'm not gonna waste my time at this table or
Mm-hmm.
waiting crazy because it just seems like you don't have the money to tip me. Like I feel like they probably correlate the size of the meal with how much they're going to tip. Because if you come in here spending a lot of money, just like Molly said, like even, with, certain beauty services, you come in here for 3 massages, you want to wax, you want this, I'm going to go all crazy because it seems like you got money. But
Yeah.
then when you don't tip anything or you're not giving me anything, I'm like, wow, that was a $300 service and you couldn't tip me anything, like
Mm-hmm.
it just correlates. The more I'm spending, the more I'm most likely going to tip you. When honestly, I could just come in here and get the service and not have to tip you.
That is true. So how do you feel when people or like places automatically add or like it defaults to an amount? Like I went to a show I don't remember what concert it was, but they like I bought like a concession like it was like a soda and a M&M, okay? And it was already like $18 for this soda and pack of freaking peanut M&Ms, and it defaulted to a 20% tip. And if you were not paying attention and you just clicked like yes, like I would have paid 20% for what? For you to hand me a bottle of water and a pack of M&Ms? Like you didn't even have to put a lid on it.
Yeah, straight up.
So if you weren't paying attention, like it would have just gone right through. And
Yeah.
that is the shit that bothers me. Like when you
Yeah.
automatically add the tip, I can see for like restaurants adding it for parties of like 6 or more. But
They
that
should
also
tell
bothers
you.
me. Right. And when there's children, I don't think they should count.
No.
Like,
Oh.
okay, well, hear me out. Hear me out. So I am a party of 5 because
Okay.
I have 3 children and me and my husband, right? And we will go places, and some places will automatically add gratuity because we're a party of 5. I'm like, it's 3 kids, and technically one of them is a baby.
Okay.
And depending on your service, I would probably tip you more than the 18% that you automatically added, but you auto added that, and I have little kids.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like they're well mannered for the most part at a restaurant. So
But
like
most kids, Carly, most kids ain't.
I don't know. I just feel like you gotta give the parents a chance.
Well, bro, like if your kid is over here smashing French fries, I don't know where Molly went. Did Molly go for you too?
Where did Molly go?
I don't know.
Molly.
Maybe her phone died or something. Oh, shit.
She said
Hold on.
you guys froze. Oh shit. Kiwi, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry. I went to go read the text message and it froze.
Oh fuck. Okay, wait. Can she join?
I think she froze and didn't know it.
Okay. Invite a guest. Let me send it to. Does it let me? Hold on. Oh shit, you're there again. Okay, I was about to send it back to you.
No, I was like, everything froze. And I was like, is this happening to everybody? I was like, they're probably just talking the whole time.
Oh my god.
Okay, last I heard was you're a party of 5. Okay.
Okay,
go.
so I'm
counting kids, like for the tipping situation.
for the 18% that auto add, do you think they should count the kids? Like they count Letty.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is before Molly got back on, what I was gonna say is that I believe that maybe if your kid is at least of sitting in like maybe a booster chair or something like that, I would add them. They're taking up space. Like, unfortunately, but also like just because your kids is well mannered, don't mean every group of kids in here is gonna be well mannered. Like, kids be throwing food on the ground, making weird like drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like food in the tub. People do that. Grown drunk people do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but that's an at-home food you're eating?
Huh?
Like the food you're ordering. Like Letty will eat a French fry from Carly's plate. Like it's not.
But see, that's basing tipping off of what I'm ordering. Like, again, it is complicated because I'm basing it off of the service. Like, if I know I'm coming in this bitch with badass kids, like, I'm gonna have to tip because kids are gonna yell. Even if they don't eat, some kids just yell the whole time.
Yeah.
Kids just move stuff around. Like, they're not even eating. They brought their own snacks and they still causing a ruckus, in a sense. Like, or
Yeah.
they're still taking up space. Like when I come to this table, I still have to mind your kid because it's not like all of a sudden you're just gonna be like, okay, they're not eating, and then I come an hour later and like, hey, can we have an apple juice? You know, like you don't know when that kid is gonna become important in this situation, if ever they become important. Like
Right.
they're here for a reason. Like if you didn't want me to mind your kids, why bring them? You
Yeah.
know?
That's true, but Jesus, Molly.
Right.
That also goes back to parenting and social awareness, which is a
Yeah.
whole nother topic. Because
Another
if
topic.
you got a badass kid, don't take that bitch to a restaurant.
I always
Like,
say that. I'm like, until they can be quiet and be themselves, why? I mean, I get that it's hard for the parents not to be able to go out, but like, dude,
yeah.
I think it's crazy sometimes.
Well, we know, like, if my middle child is being on one, like, if he is on one, we are not going anywhere. Like, or I will wait in the car with him and my husband will get the food to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking his ass inside because that's not enjoyable for me either. Like, to sit there and have to listen to him whine.
It's
Like,
like panicky, you know? You're like,
yeah,
everybody's watching me. Like, yeah.
that's
Some
not
parents, for them is white noise. You know, like they don't
They're
even
just sipping on their margarita.
they just
Like, kids.
bad kids need love too.
enjoyable.
Go
Yeah.
out and enjoy their restaurants too. Like maybe they don't know how to act in those environments because they've never been in them. You know, like they don't know how their kid is going to act out and about, or what overstimulates them, or what have you. Like I really just put them in the corner, and then when they get old, they're that weird kid in the restaurant.
Not the weird kid.
Like I don't know, like it's hard to judge because or to like to determine if I should bring my kid or not. Because what if this is a loud ass restaurant? Okay,
Yeah.
like some restaurants are loud as fuck. Not Yard House. Yard House isn't loud, but
Yeah,
Lazy
it
Dog
is.
That is. It can be.
Yeah,
House can be. I think Lazy Dog is loud as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
you're right.
Like it's a delicious place. We should probably all go with our phones. But I think that some restaurants are loud. Like if I feel like I can bring my badass kid to Applebee's. Like sorry, like
Yeah.
I can bring my badass kid to Olive Garden sometimes. Like like come on, bro, it's
Hey,
a family.
Olive
restaurant.
Garden is classy.
You have to do like Applebee's or Chili's or like
Yeah,
Buffalo Wild Wings is the perfect place for bad kids.
perfect.
It is
Yeah.
loud in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying I'm taking my kid to like sorry, my cat is playing. I'm not taking my kid to like Caesar Palace or like
Right.
somewhere like super fancy in the wind or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm not, like, they shouldn't be there anyway. You know, is what it is. Maybe it's just a time and a place. Time and place. Time and place.
Well, you should, and whether you have kids or not, you should look up the restaurant prior to going, in my opinion. You need to know like what you're going for, right? Like, well, I'm also the bitch that orders the same thing every time, but you need
Chicken
to know
nuggets.
like, yeah, what are the menu prices, right? Like, you don't, I mean, unless you like really don't care, but like, we're not the same then. Like, look at the menu prices. What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like, what if I just got done at the gym and like, I don't have a lifetime membership. I have an EOS membership. Like, that's a difference.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
Yeah.
diff one.
there's a difference between them. So, like, I just got done with the gym. Can I walk into this restaurant? What am I expected to pay? Can I afford to tip? Those are
Yeah.
all things that you should be considering before you go and spend the money.
I
Like,
think
I
that's a
can
big thing
remember.
is if you can afford to do what you're doing, getting your nails done, going out to eat, factor in the tip.
Yeah.
Because if you can't afford your $100 nail service and tip, then you shouldn't be doing it because it's not fair to the person.
Big facts.
And also, like, don't spend that money if you don't have it. But that's
Sure.
like a whole nother.
That's another thing.
Also, tip your tattoo artists, bro. They just put
Oh,
something like forever. Tip
So
them tattoo.
that's another thing. Like, did you ever learn that you were supposed to tip somebody that you didn't know? Because I learned that a while ago that you're supposed to like leave tip money for like the housekeeper in a hotel.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I didn't
I
know that.
probably what? Like I used to see, but that's a big service to me. Like I'm very service based. Like
Mhm.
tattoo artists will always get a tip from me. Um, housekeepers, things like that will always get a tip from me. Waiters every now and then. I ain't even gonna lie about it. Every now and then. Because sometimes, like, honestly, like Mom said, you working for this tip and you coming at me weird, bro, I'm not gonna pay you. I'm sorry. Like you could be having a bad day. Like ask them to put you in the kitchen then. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you I will assume, but maybe not. Maybe not. But I will assume that you won't get the great amount of tips anyway, because you have attitude with everybody. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you have attitude with everybody and it's just me, I'm definitely not tipping you. Because at this point I'm watching you at everybody else's table. Like, are you slamming their food down? Are you, like
God, that
being
would make me so nervous, like not tipping somebody. I'm like, they're gonna know. They're gonna know me next time. They're gonna put my picture on a wall, be like, she cannot come in here anymore.
They're not going to 86 you.
You don't know. You don't know.
I
They
do
could.
know.
have to take like off this I don't know. I feel like we kind of have to take off the stigma of like having to tip. Like
Yeah.
because it does put people in situations, just like you said, like what if a parent can only come in here and just pay for exactly this meal, and now you treat them differently because they don't have enough money, but like they still wanted to do something nice for their kid, like
Yeah.
just like like I don't know your situation of why you have this attitude tonight. You don't know my situation of why I can only pay this amount of money. Like I shouldn't be limited on my experiences because I can't tip or because I can't give extra when honestly, when I read the menu, I budgeted this out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're very right. Like, yeah, you don't know anybody's, but then you have the dicks that are like, you shouldn't do this, and then they put like $0. Like when they write little notes on like, you see them online, and I'm just like, come on, come on,
come
Yeah.
on.
come on, come on.
It's a delicate dance. It's a very delicate dance because there is people out there that should be receiving more tips, and people who take advantage of the fact that they don't really have to tip, and vice versa. There is, people in the industry that take advantage of the pressure society gives when you do tip, or to force you into a tip. Like it goes it goes always. It's LGBTQ up in here. Plus, what I'm saying, goes always. Very pan. So I don't know. Like we gotta do better. I don't know. 'Cause there's just some professions that don't get tipped at all, and that's crazy.
Well, think about our profession. We can't accept tips.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's not allowed. Think about
Yeah,
like, think about like a doctor. Can you imagine if you walked into your doctor's office and just like slapped a cool 20 in his hand?
Yeah,
take care of me, my good sir.
He's gonna think you're trying to pay him for like a blowjob or something.
yeah, or
Or some
policemen.
pills.
Yeah,
Oh my god, like a fake prescription. He's gonna
Yeah,
like, oh
you know,
my,
first responders, we ain't tipping them because they think
right?
you trying to get better care. You know what I'm saying? We can't bribe a police officer like, "What's up, buddy? Thank you for pulling me over. You did a great job
yeah,
with
it's
them."
considered a bribe at sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and then at that point, if it's considered a bribe, then you should be better with the service. Like I'm telling you to be great right now. Like I'm bribing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
I mean, you basically are, right? Like you're bribing them to give you something better than you would have gotten without the tip.
Yeah, like Uber drivers expect a tip. I seen something where on the net where this person was like, since you didn't want to tip me, like in the Nest camera, like since you didn't want to tip me, like here's your food, and like threw the food or whatever and all that stuff. Like, yeah,
Like
like
a Grubhub driver?
mm-hmm.
or Uber Eats or whatever, like,
Oh,
they expect to be tipped, for
Certain
drive.
amount too. Yeah.
How do you feel about tipping on that? Like, yeah, I didn't want to go get my food. Do you feel like you should be tipping? Like, how much do you tip your Grubhub driver? Are you also tipping that off of the amount of food or how much you pay for your food? Because, like, where is that at?
the
I don't.
Grubhub driver, I do tip, but I don't tip on the amount of food. I tip on the distance they have to travel. Because like they're like the burger place that I like to order from for the office. It's a little bit of a drive. It's off of Horizon and Valley Verde.
Mm,
So it's like a solid 10 to 15-minute drive on side streets to get to the office.
mm,
So I tip higher on that because I don't want to go, but also I think about like how much time would it cost me to go get it and how much is my time worth?
Yeah.
And like I make more than that. So it's better for me just to tip him to bring it to us than for me to stop what I'm doing and go get it.
mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
how I tip like the Grubhub drivers in or like the Uber Eats or whatever. But like if you're I judge based on like what you ordered because I'm a bitch. So if the place has a drive-through, I will not order from them on like a food delivery service because I can get in my car and go through a drive-through.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
don't have a drive-through, then I'm more likely to order from them for that and then tip you. But also because up until recently I had the baby with me and it is the biggest pain in the butt to get the baby in and out of the car just to
Mm,
go inside and pick up your food. Like
Yeah.
it's
mm,
not even worth it, honestly. Some days it's really not.
Yeah. It's not
So
convenient. Yeah.
yeah, because it's not convenient and she's not in the carry car seat anymore. So like I really got it's a 5-point harness. I gotta clip her in, take her out. It's hot. Like it's just not even worth it. But
yeah.
so if it has a drive through, I will not order from them because I can go get it myself. And
Mm-hmm.
like I'm lazy, but not that lazy.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't have a drive through, then I'm more likely going to order it and I'll pay you for your distance. But the company that you work for should pay you for your gas.
Yeah.
Point blank period, sis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
flat
do.
out.
I tip off a distance as well. Like I'm not even okay. Like if it's up the street, like it's
Yeah.
just up the street. You know what I'm saying? Also, I will also say like I tip about off of how much of a convenience it is. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
like during COVID times, I was tipping left and right. Like I was
Mhm.
going bananas. I ain't gonna lie, flu season coming up, and if you my Uber driver, you gonna get paid because I tend to get sick, and all I got is the energy just to shuffle to the door and grab my food.
Right.
Dying
They're
so
basically providing you life.
life, like, and I'm like killing this cold medicine. I'm like, God damn, I really need some chicken soup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna get tipped because that is a big convenience to me. But and it's unfortunate. Like, if I'm being a little lazy, I most likely will pick a place that's super close anyway because it's just me being lazy. Like, it's not even me. Like, I can go do this myself, but I would still tip, but it probably won't be as good or as much. And what's crazy is what going back, like circling, like full circle moment. What's crazy is that those Uber drivers that most likely you are ordering from or using to go pick up, like for instance, we have Fat Boy today. Shout out to Fat Boy. The burger is amazing. But we have Fat Boy. Oh, the other day at
It was,
least. And, huh?
it was yesterday.
I was like, you
Just
got it again.
No, Molly was judging the fuck out of me right
It
now.
was a silent judgment. It was no judgment. I was like, those burgers were good. I would have got it the next day too.
They're so good.
So
Shout out
good.
to Fat Boy because they have the best burgers
Yeah.
and
best.
fries and their ranch.
And
Oh,
they're so good. Like, please, like, just so you know. But we got it yesterday. And what's crazy is the Fat Boy people don't get the tip from it. The driver gets it.
Right. Yeah. You can't tip the place like through those apps. You can only tip the driver that works for the company that you ordered through. And that sucks. But
That
see,
does suck.
the problem with Fat Boy is they don't have a drive through, which probably keeps their service better, honestly, with the kind of food that they have. What was that? Sorry.
Don't get a drive through because of this. Like,
Yeah, no. Don't do it.
You don't need
But
it.
also, like, they're like everything about them is like so authentic, I guess you'd call it. Like, it would feel weird if they had a drive through. I feel like they would be like now like one of those like, oh, the next McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, hi, kitty. But with them, I feel like they actually like they would deserve the tip.
mm-hmm.
Like they are back there. I don't know if you've ever been inside of the Fat Boy, but like the people that take your order at the counter are the cooks. Like they're like, if you're like, hey man, can you press it a little bit more? Can like I get a little extra onion or whatever it is? Like they're the ones who are literally going to do it for you. They're not hollering back. Like it's like a little mom and pop shop. Like those guys deserve the tip. Not that the Grubhub or Uber Eats driver doesn't, but it's not like you're being a waitress at that point. Like they are the cooks.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So
That was crazy.
do you tend to tip more like in the mom and pop shops or like the little boutiques or stuff like that? Do you like?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to shop local. I love boutiques. I love mom and pop places. My biggest issue with mom and pop places is in the small town that I live in. It is well known that the service is horrific at almost every restaurant we have. There's like, well, I have very high standards, but there's like 2 restaurants that coincidentally are owned by the same family and they have above average service, but it's not consistent. If you go on a weekend, your service is going to suck ass. Flat out.
So it's like you want to help them, but you're like, do I want to sit there for 3 hours?
Exactly. Like we actually did that. Like 2 weekends ago, we went to this specific place for breakfast and we sat down and it took a while to get, all I drink is coffee in the morning, right? It took a while to get our freaking coffee and it's not fancy. It's just poured coffee. I literally told Michael, I was like, God dang it. We came here on a Saturday. And he was like, man. And so our breakfast was like a 2-hour affair for pancakes. Pancakes. Yeah. But if I would have gone on like a Tuesday, the service would have been top notch.
Right.
Yeah.
Top tier.
But a lot of people dine on the weekend, so they should prepare, you know. But I mean, you definitely are in a smaller area. They just don't have probably the power. People or the money, you know.
I think specific to this town, it's kind of like a slow flow place, and a lot of the staff at the restaurants are younger than us. And I feel like they weren't taught the urgency of keeping drinks full because the business is steady. So they don't have to work for the business.
I see. Yeah.
You know, like they don't have to make sure that they have top tier service so they get 5-star Yelp reviews because they're going to have a customer no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to have business no matter what.
Right. And that is also another problem to tipping is that people think that like just because your seats are full that your service is good. Right. And that's not always the case. Like your service can suck. There's just literally nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small town.
Yeah.
Right. I would love to. I always said like that would be like another business venture. It'd be like going to all the restaurants and like teaching them how to be a server.
Yeah, like
The
that.
urgency.
Isn't it like bars, like bar
Yeah,
rescue?
bar rescue. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the places here that has decently good service was on Guy Ferrari's Diners, Dives, and Drive-ins.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And their service is better. But
So
the
Mm.
busy
wait,
there.
yeah, the wait is
Yeah.
hours long. And I'm not waiting hours for pancakes and eggs.
Kind of doesn't seem like the vibe.
Nah, I can make it myself.
So you're not even there to eat for flavor. You're just there for convenience.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I feel like I look like a super villain.
You do.
You do. You kitty.
Oh, fun fact, my 9-year-old asked me, we were going through the list of superheroes, and she asked me if all of those superheroes were around back in my day.
Oh
Wow.
no, back in my day.
They were
Yeah.
just, oh.
I said,
Mm.
how old do you think I am? Like back in my day. What
Yeah.
the hell is
It's
this?
the day it is right now. Like, we're
We
current.
was old as shit. Still do.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
think she thinks I'm literally like the oldest person ever.
You tell her I'm older than you. Tell her. And then I'll be the oldest.
Tell her grandma's older. I mean, technically grandma is older.
Yeah. Well, she used to say that her great grandpa would walk with a stick, and it was a cane.
Walk with a stick.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
But yeah.
anyways, all right. Well, yeah, I think that pretty much sums up our tipping culture.
Yeah. I'd love to hear from people like in the industry too. If you like thrive on tips or just any like comments, questions, concerns.
Yeah. Like also feel about our tipping ideas, I guess, or
Yeah.
like views, because I know that's a sensitive topic. Like tipping
Oh,
is super sensitive for a lot of people who have been in the industry, out of the industry, abused the industry, whatever it is. Like tipping is very serious. So let us know how y'all get down. Like I want to know what everyone
Yeah.
else thinks about how we view tipping. Are we doing it right? As
right.
like,
Right.
are
And
we
please
doing it?
let me know I'm not alone in not knowing that you had to tip a housekeeper. Okay, thanks.
Tip your housekeeper. Like he's making your bed. Like what?
I thought it was part of the room price.
I usually leave like a 20 on the nightstand when I'm checking out, and I'll put like a thank you note. Because I have
So cute.
heard that if you don't like specify, sometimes they won't take it because they don't want to like think that they're stealing your money.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Oh my
Yeah.
God, a little thank you card? Definitely gonna travel with
Yeah.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
so cute.
They make like itty bitty ones.
Love it.
Oh, oh. Can you custom put like your name, like from
Probably.
the McNeil family? You know what I'm
They
saying?
will
Like,
actually put like if it's all of us, like we put like thank you for so much for all your help, like or like if we have Colette, we'll be like, thank you for changing out the dirty diapers. And
Yes,
then we
ma'am.
sign the McNeils, yeah.
Yeah.
But on your cruise, Molly, there's a piece of paper to tip your I think they call it a room host, and he's the guy who cleans your room.
Oh, cool.
mhm.
And make sure like your bed is turned down. They do like the little animals and stuff for you out of the towels.
So excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a
It was
good
like,
animal.
we got to do a cruise. We got to do a cruise podcast before you go and talk about our fun cruise adventures, what you're expecting on your cruise. Maybe we'll do that one soon.
We'll do like that video where it's like, this is Molly one day before her cruise. This is Molly one day after her cruise.
You're like, hey, here I
I'll
am. Hey
just be
guys.
asleep on the lounge. Like,
All like,
yeah.
full.
I love it. All right, guys. Have a
All
good one.
right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Producers.